Well, good morning, church. I don't even know where to start, but I want to first say a huge thank you. There are so many good people in this congregation and in this world that makes what I'm going to talk about next possible. The Finance Committee at the beginning of the year granted $100,000 to the Missions and Christian Advocacy Committee to allocate to support different projects and initiatives that we wouldn't be able to do within our unified budget. That pool of money we get from time to time is called our Missions Plus Fund. So a little context there for you. Today I have the opportunity to invite Keri Mitchell to the chancel and to share a little bit about the grant that Keri received from Wilshire. Now, Keri is not a stranger to our church. She is a beloved friend, and her daughters have participated in our children's programming, and so we are grateful to not only know you and your work and what you're doing, but to know you and your family. So this morning, the Missions Committee allocated $25,000 of the $100,000 to Keri's organization called Dallas Free Press. So first thing, Keri, what is Dallas Free Press? Tell us a little bit about about what you do.
Happy to. Does this work? Sorry. Yes. Hi. First of all, thank you so much. I can't thank you enough. It's going to be a catalytic gift for us and our journalism pathway, which I'll talk about in a minute. But Dallas Free Press. So my history is that I worked at Advocate magazines for 15 years. I was actually Georgia's editor, which didn't take a whole lot of work, I'll be honest. But it was such a joy, and got to do stories even about Wilshire. I wrote a story about Georgia's friendship with Rabbi David Stern and how that impacted your congregations, and also your journey toward being an inclusive and affirming church. So all that to say, I've been a community journalist my entire career. Community journalism gets to go really deep with communities and understand and listen deeply. And we have community journalism in places where the advertising and subscription models for news work. It doesn't work in communities like South Dallas and West Dallas, where Dallas Free Press now has a presence, both because advertisers aren't interested in those eyeballs and because there's not trust in news media for good reason, because of the history of news media in these communities. So I launched Dallas Free Press in 2020 as a way to do community journalism and deep civic journalism in these communities. What I really kind of came to is that if we're going to do journalism that sheds light on deep problems and gets towards solutions as a city, we have to listen most deeply to the voices of communities where these problems are most pronounced. So now I have the privilege of working with amazing people in South Dallas and West Dallas, one of whom is with me this morning. Thank you, Gloria, for being here. And it's just a joy to do this work.
Okay, so in Labyrinth this morning, we talked about this idea of mission being about transformation. So this is not a question I threw at you in advance, but tell us, how have you been transformed by this work?
Oh, I need to take the pulpit this morning, but
Charlie?
I really want to hear your message. I can't even begin to describe it. It's been humbling. It's been, and this came from a place of faith for me. I grew up in the church. I'm a pastor's kid in the Church of the Nazarene. And really at the end of my time at Advocate, I kept hearing this nudge of wisdom, clarity, direction. There's something else. We have to go somewhere else. There's something different. And it's really been the prayer that kind of continues to bring me back. But it has transformed just by listening to people, just by understanding their stories. And then we get to take that listening and understanding and turn it into something that other people can listen to and understand more deeply. And it's an incredible privilege to do that. And I mean, even though I worked in this community and incredible communities in Dallas forever, it's so meaningful to work in South Dallas and West Dallas and hear the faith of people who believe, no, this is going to change. It's going to get better. And thank you for being part of that work. And this means so much to us because we go into communities and we tell people, we are not here to be your voice. I am not here to be your voice. I am here to make sure your voice is heard. And we're working on a million different ways to do that, including the journalism pathway.
Okay, good headway.
Thanks.
Sorry, thank you for that detour here. So tell us, our gift to you was given to be able to start a journalism pathways program in Lincoln High School.
Yes.
So tell us about that.
Well, where we are now. So I realized very early on, if we're going to do this and we're going to do this well, and Dallas Free Press is about, yes, South Dallas and West Dallas, but also about changing journalism and the way it impacts the city. Then our newsrooms need to reflect our city. They do not. This is not going to surprise most of you in this congregation, but we are not hearing from voices and getting the perspective and deep institutional knowledge of kids in South Dallas and West Dallas, for example. So I knew that we would have to do some sort of, grow our own pathway program to go into high schools to teach kids about media literacy. What are we going to do with all this information that is being thrown at us? How do we know what's true? How do we know what to trust? Critical thinking. We say we want our kids to be critical thinkers, but then when they start asking questions, we go, no, it's fine. It's all fine. And what I love about high schools, we're in LG Pinkston High School in West Dallas right now and the Great James Madison High School in South Dallas doing work in classrooms and in school clubs. And I always joke that high school students are the best complainers of anybody I know. They are so good at identifying problems. And what we're trying to do with them is say, okay, we've got these problems. Why does this exist? Let's get behind the why. Let's start asking questions. And the questions they come up with, you guys, they're amazing. They're better than most reporters and newsrooms I've worked in. And then we say, well, who do we need to ask those questions of? And how do we push toward maybe solutions to these community problems? And there's a lot of wonderful things about this work, but one of the best things, we had a student at Great James Madison High School last year who said, I now understand that my voice matters. That I can ask these questions. It's okay to ask these questions, and that my voice matters. And I think about that, and yes, the ultimate goal of this is to have our newsrooms reflect our city, but it's also to have our city reflect our city. These kids are going to grow up, and they're going to be the future leaders. They're going to know they can ask questions. They're going to know how to work toward answers and solutions. They're going to change they're going to change the world. So we just love doing this work. And the grant is specifically going to help us write we're working with a local Dallas journalism teacher who knows and understands kids to teach them writing and storytelling and media literacy and those kinds of things. So we're super excited about that.
Well, I hope you all see why we chose Dallas Free Press as a grant recipient, and I hope it encourages you to continue to be generous. These are the wonderful things that we get to participate in because you choose to give to the church. So, Keri, thank you for being here. You can find on page 11 all of the other recipients that were given Mission Plus grants this year, and we hope to be able to provide more opportunities for you to get to hear the stories of how your dollars are impacting our city.
Yeah, thank you.
Love you.
Love you. Okay. By the way, those groups, we're honored to be on the same page as them. We work with a lot of them, so they're incredible. Thank you, guys.